Welcome to another episode here on Chat It Up. I am kicking us off, man. I'm your host, Malcolm Mickey Harris. Got a lot of special folks in the building today. One guy specifically that is very near and dear to my heart. We're going to get to him in a second, but just know I got this jersey on for a reason. We're going to kick it in Atlanta tonight just for a little bit. But first, I need some of that theme music. Joseph, what's up, man? Listen, the saying is that the real Georgia boys go to Tennessee. That's what they say, but I got a Georgia boy with me that I'm gonna bring in, and I've known him almost 20 years. Boy, we getting old, man. This guy goes by the name of Caleb Johnson, representing 929 the game down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Conyers, Georgia's finest, the second best trumpet player out of Salem High School. His name is Caleb Johnson. Caleb, what's up, man?
The second best. I feel like I remember
Bruh.
my name being first chair, and you switched instruments on us.
Listen, Caleb was so good, y'all. They was like, listen, man, you gotta. Nah, we were good, but I switched instruments. Basically, he was like, I'm a better receiver than I am corner. So, Caleb, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? I am slightly nervous at anything that could get brought up across this podcast, just because, look, I know, don't forget, I know you and your glasses wearing days and your Oldsmobile Alero driving days. So, whatever you got from me, just know I have my own ammunition, and I'm very much excited to talk to a very old friend.
Bro, it is so good to see y'all. Bro, for those that don't know, Caleb again covers the Dawgs. He covers the Falcons, the Hawks, as well as Atlanta United. But we're also not alone, man. I'm bringing in backup just in case Caleb tries to get crazy. The usual suspects, my guys, man, my brothers. I'm talking about Greg Larnard as well as Chase. Y'all see me turning red up here? I know a black man can turn red, y'all.
You blushing, boy.
Big time. We need
What's
some of those
up,
stories.
fellas? What's up, fellas?
How you doing, Mark?
I'm good. How y'all boys doing, man?
Fantastic.
Beautiful, my friend. Beautiful.
It's good to be in the foundation. We miss you guys. I wish both of y'all were here with us in studio, but unfortunately not able to do that. Caleb's got the incredible background. Miggy mentioned that he is from the ATL, covering a lot of things out there for 929 the game. I'm excited to get into it. We've been talking a lot of college football on this podcast, and for those of you who know me, I am much more of an NFL guy, so I'm excited to talk a little bit more NFL today than I am college football. I miss it. I'm ready to talk some Falcons.
I'm ready to talk some Falcons too, and we got the guy to do it. And just starting it out. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing from this man really called my Oldsmobile Alero, man. Y'all don't understand what that car meant to me.
With the window that fell and looked come back.
Yes.
You had the trash bag in the window for like a couple weeks before you got the window fixed. Like, yeah.
Come on, Malk. You got to be better.
Do we have pictures of this thing?
We need pictures.
Bruh, I got to find one from my dad, man. But it's, Caleb has been there for thick and thin, and he is now doing his thing down in Atlanta. And speaking of doing his thing, I mean, we can kind of get into it right now. The talk of the town right now is Michael Penix. I always say his name wrong, but I will not anymore. Bijan Robinson.
That's right.
Kyle Pitts, and of course, Drake London and the Atlanta Falcons. How has it been through these first couple of weeks, well, really days of training camp? I mean, it looks a bit different on Flowery Branch than it's looked since we were in, college?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the hype is real right now. I think around this team, like, it's really bizarre because we're truly in a point at which the hype is around the Falcons and the Hawks, and everything going on with the Atlanta Braves is like, yeah, we really don't want to talk about them. But when it comes to the Falcons, what hope Michael Penix Jr. has brought to this team, I think is really kind of it's changed things because I talked about I host a show on 929 The Game called the Dopey Millennial Show because I am myself a dopey millennial, and I talked about the fact that right now it feels like the Falcons are getting their value in Michael Penix Jr. Like, this is a guy who just the leaderships alone, that kind of element of things from him being such a young guy, not maybe necessarily age wise, but as far as being in the league wise, being so young, he's already showing the leadership skills that you're going, Kirk who? Because, you know, you really in Atlanta, we want to forget Kirk Cousins as quickly as we can, even though he keeps showing up for some reason and staying around. But I think the leadership that we've seen so far through just a very short amount of time with Michael Penix Jr., as far as like he went day one instead, I'm going to feed Kyle Pitts the ball a bunch. Why? Because we've all been talking about how trash Kyle Pitts is and the fact that they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. The expectations are so low. Is he going to get traded? Would they ever just like cut him because he is so kind of lowly considered a part of this team? All of that goes on in the offseason, and we show up and Penix is like, no, I'm going to feed Kyle Pitts the ball and show you all that this is a realistic part of our offense, that he is important. And then, as Malcolm mentioned, Bijan Robinson, they showed a video of him working, kind of just doing some footwork a couple of days ago. And the way he stays so centered and the feet move back and forth and it's so seamless. Like, I am ready for all of the videos coming from over the top of Mercedes-Benz Stadium where they have kind of like that slow-mo work where his body stays singular in place, but everything else is kind of moving around. Like, I am ready for this Falcons offense to unleash, even though I think kind of the bigger thing that's going to carry this team really more consistently is going to be their defense that they upgraded.
Definitely.
Yeah, when it comes to the defense, man, I wanted to go over there next, and I'm sure we'll kind of go back to the offense. But talk to us a little bit about some of the rookies that they brought in. Obviously, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. here with the Vols. We love to kind of check in on them, and I was reading some things about that. And James Pierce started a little bit of a tussle at training camp not too long ago. Talk to me a little bit about those guys and some of the other rookies that have been making an impact on defense specifically.
Yeah, James Pierce Jr. is stealing all of the headlines in Atlanta, and that's more often. It's really kind of coming because Jalen Walker has injured his hamstring a little bit, and so he's kind of being held out of camp, and they're monitoring it and wanting it to not turn into a bigger deal. But also because James Pierce Jr. is a grown man amongst other men. Like, he is really kind of showing himself right out of the gate to. He mentioned the fact that he had been compared to Leonard Floyd, and now he's playing with Leonard Floyd on this Falcons defensive line. But I think the way that the way that this fight started earlier this week in camp came from the fact that James Pierce Jr. was doing his reps all out, and that Matthew Bergeron and some of the other Falcons offensive linemen are going, hey, it's week 1 of camp.
Come on, Rook.
Yeah, let's slowly get into this thing. And that apparently James was kind of like, nah, like I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to show you guys. And that caused some chirping back and forth. And James, it's not like he's a small guy, so he's able to kind of stand up for himself. And I think the only thing that Raheem Morris, the Falcons head coach, didn't like is that it took time for them to like break up the fight and then get back to what they wanted to be working on. And he was like, hey, I don't want to be wasting practice time. But otherwise, I think he loves the tenacity that James Pierce Jr. can bring. And I think when the Falcons made this decision of, all right, we're going to trade with the Rams and get this guy on our team right now, because I think the Falcons GM Terry Fontenot knows, hey, my job's kind of on the line here. And like, if I don't start showing some results, I'm not going to be able to make our pick next year. So what's it matter if I go ahead and swap it now and go get a guy in James Pierce Jr.? But I think they believed in him because you're getting the versatility in a Jalen Walker, a guy who can move around. But then James Pierce Jr. is supposed to be that guy that's like, hey, there's not a lot of fancy tricks up his sleeve. He's just going to get the quarterback, and he is, he's that guy, so he's going to go make it happen. And I think what has been shown, especially over the last couple of days as pads went on, is that he is, at least so far, showing he is every bit a part of what they wanted him to be. As far as this Falcons team has got to upgrade their pass rush, because it's been, as I'm sure Malcolm knows, like, it's been absolutely abysmal, non-existent, to the point that yes, 2 rookies are going to show up and make a significant difference.
Yeah, because it does feel like I saw Jesse Bates' comments, and to get this right, he said, speaking of James Pierce, not afraid to touch the aux cord, and then goes out and practices hard as hell. So I love that, because I will say, I think that was a weird little knock on him, was like 2 things. He's very raw, like you mentioned. Like, he doesn't have like the tricks of the trade. He's got like 1, maybe 2 moves, but it's mostly just, I'm more athletic than everybody. I think that's a big part of it. Is he was so good, and he got figured out. So that's one thing I'm hoping he learns from Floyd and some of those guys, is we get some moves out of James Pierce Jr. Like, wow, this guy could be elite. Plus, when you get Walker on side of him, it's like, this is 2 of the nastiest dudes in the SEC last year and the last 2 or 3 years. So it's like, you guys are going to be living good down there in Atlanta, brother. I will say that.
I think he's also got, so Chuck Smith is a guy who is kind of looked at as a pass rush guru in the Atlanta area, and a lot of the top pass rushers in the league, they pass through Chuck Smith's kind of this camp that he'll hold and these sessions. And it's been funny, because in the past there have been other guys who have come through the Falcons organization who didn't take advantage of Chuck Smith, and it was looked at as like, you didn't kiss the ring, like you didn't join in the thing that everyone else is doing to learn from the best. And I think the fact that both Jalen and James Pierce Jr. have gone in with Chuck Smith, apart from the guys who are already on this team, and a Leonard Floyd, who, obviously is back end of his career and is just trying to stick around. But the Falcons found some success in the past when they had that Dwight Freeney role of a veteran pass rusher, and then you had some young guys like a Vic Beasley, when he actually wanted to play football, who showed up and really kind of made a difference. And that's obviously how the Falcons went on their most successful run as of late. And so I think that's kind of the optimism. You mentioned Jesse Bates, though, as someone who, it's so easy to forget Jesse amongst this defense, just because that's a position you don't ever have to worry about. Like, you just know that Jesse has got that safety role locked down. And I think the thing that we're all trying to figure out in Atlanta is Xavier Watts, who they drafted in the 3rd round out of Notre Dame, like, is he going to be the guy who can fill in alongside Jesse in that more of that free safety role and kind of shine? Because you went out, you got a Jordan Fuller, the vet, who can handle things. But I think you really want a guy like Xavier Watts, who obviously they didn't have the best showing when it came time to put it on the field in the national championship. But if you look at his body of work, I think his smaller frame but hard hitting impact is something that can, obviously really help out this Falcons secondary.
Yeah, he feels like, in a way, like, as far as you have pure potential, he's the James Pierce of like a secondary to me.
Yes.
Like, he's got, Watts was awesome most of the year. And as you mentioned, like, didn't work out in the national championship. Like, you ran into the most buzzsaw of buzzsaws.
Yeah, I was in the building for that one, and it's one of, like, when you see Ohio State play, it's like no one was beating that. There was just no one had anything for especially that offense. So I certainly wouldn't like criticize him. It's kind of the same way that there have been a few different guys who have looked really strong until they went up against Travis Hunter, and then it was like, oh well, he didn't play as well. It's like, yeah, well, Billy Bowman out of Oklahoma, like, had to go up against Travis and he got cooked, but the rest of the time looked pretty good. And so you feel pretty, you feel comfortable, I think, with the direction that I've been a really big I guess, Terry Fontenot guy. Like, I am not his biggest fan, even though I do work for the flagship, and I know you're not supposed to necessarily strongly criticize the guys in charge, but I've not been super impressed with what he's put together in the past, more so on the drafting side of things than what he's done with free agency, because I think he's made some really smart moves there. But this year's draft in particular, I truly feel super confident in what Terry Fontenot has put together, because it feels like he went and did the whole best player available thing, but also addressed massive needs going to get, both pass rushers. And then, as I mentioned, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman, like they address so much in this draft that you can then allow the last couple of years that things haven't come to fruition. And you did take a big chance on a Penix Jr., who now that feels like you're reaping the benefits from that.
You were speaking about Chuck's camp a couple minutes ago, and it's when I went to Chuck's camp back in Memorial Middle School, man, I was the best pass rusher there.
Yeah, you were hanging out with Chuck.
Nah, man, I was hanging out with Coach Springs, losing to Ray Davis 102-7, man.
I was about to say, I remember you did wear a football jersey, but I think that was in a play.
That was in a play in high school, man. That was in a play.
The Attack of the Pom Pom Zombies, if I remember. Bro, I told you, I came locked and loaded.
Video of this?
Oh,
There's got to be some sort of video evidence.
please.
There's photos for sure.
The Pom Pom Zombies is absurd to say on this platform, bro.
Caleb, you have posters of this?
No posters, no, but we were in. I think we did. It was like 2 or 3 shows of this play when we were a senior. Just as like, hey, we're all kind of bored, and our parents want us to like not be at the house, and have bad influences, so we just joined a high school play.
I remember that like yesterday, bro. That was
Yeah.
I don't know, huh?
I was going to say, Caleb, what was your role in that?
I was
What did
the
you
lead
play?
nerd. If that
Lead
comes as
nerd.
any surprise,
No,
there were
zero.
there were the nerds and there were the jocks. Malcolm was the leader of the jocks, and I was the leader of the nerds.
That's funny within itself.
Wow.
This is the mellophone player of the Pride of the Southland.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He's
Yeah.
playing a jock. Wow, we're truly acting.
Our
now.
only D1 athlete to say.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Best Mellavone in the state of Tennessee for 6 months. That's my claim to fame.
for 6 months.
Oh,
Oh man.
bro, so
He's
I
cooking.
am praying that the injury bug stays away from these Atlanta Falcons, but it's already starting to rear its head a little bit with to me, who I think is an amazing receiver that I was thinking was going to have a breakout year this year in Darnell Mooney. Kind of walk us through what happened, because you were at camp. Apparently, he went for like a ball that was in the corner of the end zone. And what's
Yeah.
the timeline on that?
So I guess you guys have probably seen with the Titans. I'm blanking on the wide receiver's name, but the one who just broke his collarbone. Traylon Burks. Who broke his collarbone. This was and the similar type of, like, not the same type of injury, but the same type of situation was happening with Darnell Mooney, who and it was on the sideline closest to me. And you have these moments that go through your head where you're like, what were you thinking? These guys were not in pads yet. And Michael Penix Jr. throws Darnell Mooney a ball, and Mooney decides, I'm going to lay out for it and dive for this ball while I'm wearing just my helmet and nothing else. And then shocker, he comes up and is kind of grabbing the right shoulder and is like, that doesn't feel exactly right. And then probably about 5 minutes later, after the training staff comes over to him, he's like jogging off the field, and they're going, yeah, he's dealing with a shoulder injury. Now they initially put it as he'll miss a couple of weeks. But what we just got, I believe it was Tuesday of this week, is he was asked, hey, is Darnell Mooney going to be able to play week 1 against the Bucs? And Raheem was like, I don't know yet. And so I think, just the simple fact that you don't have more confidence in him being back by that week 1 spot, obviously it's like, okay, well, that's more than just a couple weeks of an injury. But I'm still really high. Like, even with him having to work his way back from this, NFL season's really long, and we all know that. And so I think Darnell will be fine once he comes back, once he puts the pads on and he's not diving for passes, in just his shorts and a jersey. I think things will be just fine, because I think what we saw from him last year really kind of showed that, okay, the Chicago thing was probably more of their quarterback issues than it really was Darnell. And of course, the Falcons, very familiar with the fact that, they had Desmond Ridder out here throwing legitimate passes. And you had Arthur Smith at one point telling us to our face, like, oh, no, I really believe in this guy. And we're like, you sure? You can jump ship any point now. We won't judge you. But, I think Darnell playing with Kirk and getting that sort of thing going. But then I think really kind of once he gets with Penix, and he has someone who can actually move outside of the pocket, who is not going to have some sort of injury that a 36-year-old quarterback is going to pop up with. I think he's really going to be able to blossom in the way that people have expectations for Kyle Pitts, and think he is going to finally show that he is this unicorn that everybody keeps talking about ever since he was drafted, and is never going to show up, because I don't think he is about that football life that much, if you want my honest opinion. But I think Darnell Mooney is that guy that everyone kind of expects a guy like Pitts to turn into, because he is just really that secondary threat where Drake London is going to take so much pressure and handle it really well. But Mooney, I know it's just 5 touchdowns last year, but I was expecting him to kind of come into this year and, quite honestly, be able to double that, because I think the targets are going to be there.
All right, I have a 2-part question when it comes to the wide receiving core. First and foremost, what is the ceiling in your opinion for a guy like Drake London? You just mentioned like him and the pressure, and he handles it really well. What is your personal opinion on the ceiling for him? And what do you think about the secondary wide receivers that they have there behind Darnell Mooney if he does end up missing week 1 and beyond? Because again, from being around these guys, that when you're not playing football, it takes you a little bit of time to get into that football shape. So if he doesn't come back and play week 1, he's still dealing with that shoulder issue. He's not able to work out and get on the field the way he wants to. It might take him a couple of weeks to really get back into that football shape. So how are you feeling about Cordero Hodge, Ray McLeod, Jamal Agnew, who they just signed? Obviously, they got DJ Chark, who they brought in as well. So talk to me about Drake London and then the rest of the receivers there behind Darnell.
Well, I think it should say something that DJ Chark came in the building after, not being with a team, and pretty much stepped in as like wide receiver number 3, because, and that's simply
Dude's
just
talented.
out of need, because I think the abilities of Ray and Cordero are like, they're solid receivers. And especially I think the moment that Cordero Hodge got to have last season with a big game-winning touchdown catch is like, it's great for storylines. You root for these guys, because especially when you're able to talk to some of them and they're just like genuinely good people. I know, like, as someone that I get to talk to a lot of athletes, and I feel like sometimes I base my judgments on like, are you a good person? If you're a terrible person, then I'm more likely to be more critical of you, or if you're just like difficult with the media. But I think that's the thing that you gotta root for with a Ray, with a Cordero, is like, oh, they're such nice guys. But production wise, man, I really don't know if I love the fact that they all kind of shifted up with Darnell Mooney getting hurt. I think it's also, you go like, hey, Charlie Warner, do you catch passes? I sure hope so, because I know you're a good blocking tight end. But there's a lot of expectations clearly that's going to get put on Kyle Pitts. And my prediction has been kind of a similar thing to what Michael Penix Jr. did on day 1 of training camp, and then came into the media and was like, hey guys, you see Kyle catching all these passes. I think that's what the Falcons are going to do to start the season, especially now that we are more inclined to think that Darnell Mooney's not going to be there. Is it's going to be a lot of Drake London, who, I mean, look, the guy had almost 1,300 yards last season. I certainly think like his trajectory is continuing, as like he is still, in my opinion, the best wide receiver to come out of that 2022 class. And so with him stepping up from the, nearly 1,300 yards and 8 or 9 touchdowns, I think that kind of being able to maintain that is pretty realistic. Anything beyond that is kind of like, well, he is a number one option and people are learning him more. And so I love his frame type and the way that he goes up and catches the ball, being that, that the like 6'4" type guy. And so I'm a big fan of the way that he goes about, especially how he handles the red zone a lot better than the actual generational freak in Julio Jones, who the Falcons had in Atlanta for a really long time. Like Drake actually is able to kind of put up some better numbers in the red zone and handle those situations, even with worse quarterback play. And so I'm excited to see what a full season of having what I would expect to be a healthy quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., a guy, like I said, who is by no means like super mobile, but can move around. He is not locked into the pocket, on some 3 steps and I got to throw the ball because I actually have a worse injury than I want to admit to everyone, and dealing with all of that mess that was Kirk Cousins. But I feel very comfortable in Drake. Everyone else behind him, outside of Darnell Mooney, super shaky. Don't have a ton of confidence in. It's going to be a lot of best wide receiver who kind of shows up in practice and training camp leading up to the season. And so, I think DJ Chark will just kind of, by just there being not a whole lot else, be one of those people who steps up. Whether or not his legs stay together and he can sustain a full season is going to be something. But I think then the attention goes to Kyle Pitts of like, all right, the Falcons actually need you to step up as a pass catcher. Can you do it? And then, of course, I mean, Penix is going to continue to have his safety blanket and Bijan Robinson.
We're going to get you back to the episode in 1 second, but first, we're going to give you a little list of sponsors. First, we are brought to you by Barra's Custom Cabinet Refinishing, a local Chattanooga staple for the past 24 years. Barra's Cabinet Refinishing is going to bring you the best custom cabinetry in the Scenic City. From custom cabinet refinishings that breathe new life into existing cabinetry to cabinet refacing and modification that transform and optimize the space in the home. Boys, I can tell you, I need that with a little one around. The people over at Barra's simply deliver the goods. So, for a winning team that's always going to bring you the best, trust Barra's, an official sponsor of Chatted Up Sports. Head over to the website, barrascabinetrefinishing.com, to get your free estimate today. And you tell them Chatted Up Sports sent you get 5% off.
Speaking of receiver news, we just got some breaking news out of Washington. Terry McLaurin has requested a trade officially.
Oh, yeah. They're not paying him, so he's like, all right.
Says that he officially wants out of Washington. So sorry to cut you off.
The blueprints the asking for the trade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's what you do
like,
next. Trey Hendricks just didn't
give me some money.
Yet.
Yeah, we'll see, because Deebo Samuel is officially going to be their number 1 receiver.
That's not what you want.
That's not good.
It's not what you want.
Deebo is not good.
That's Malcolm Harris ball 2012, baby.
We feel good about those knees and ankles.
No, because I drafted my fantasy team last year and that was the worst.
Yeah.
After the Cortland Sutton signing, I thought surely we'll get the Terry signing this week. I'm very confused why this hasn't happened yet. I mean, just
frugal.
Help out your boy.
Yeah.
You have a generational talent. Take care of the guy. But
and he's been loyal too. They've been bad, and he's
I know,
true.
dude. So loyal.
Yeah,
I'm stupid.
I don't know. Sorry to cut y'all off.
No.
It's part of the deal, baby. Like I'm just flabbergasted, if you will, that they have not.
Good way to put it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I just cannot believe they have not signed Terry McLaurin. I mean, I know he's what 29 going on 30 in a couple weeks or something like that. I don't get it.
You can play some good ball into your 30s.
Hey, dude, I'm 34 playing some decent hoops right now in the pickup CSL league, you know?
I feel like the thing with Terry is a lot of people are going to say, well, anything that you're really paying him now, you're paying for past time that you got with him. But I think for someone who, as Malcolm pointed out, like he stuck it out through the rough times. This is one of the rare opportunities where, yeah, you kind of do overpay for a guy who's going to be hitting 30, but like he showed up for you when you really needed it, and I think he still can for this Commanders team, who like
100%.
Jaden Daniels needs all of the options that he can get because teams are coming for him.
Especially how friendly the league is to wide receivers and offense right now. It's only getting worse for defenders. It's one of those things I do feel like the football age is like 2 years younger than it used to be, maybe even 3 in some cases, like especially for quarterbacks. Like, dude, playing in your 40s now is probably going to be the standard if you're pretty good. Like, because these guys take care of themselves, you don't get hit, they're getting smarter, like just learning the ways. So that's just one of those that kind of the same way with the wide receivers. Like Terry's really probably like 29, 28 in football years. It's like, well, he's fine. He's got plenty of time. He'll be just fine with a young quarterback.
And he had like 15 touchdowns for them last year too.
Yeah,
like,
he's stud, dude.
It was for sure in the double digits. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, blows my mind. I did want to ask you, what's the consensus on Kirk Cousins? Is this like you don't wish for it, but you know what happens? Like quarterbacks get injured and we need a decent one. Is he just a trade piece for later on in the year?
So Kirk Cousins has turned me into a really bad person because anytime that first off, it's caused me to have hate towards a man that I feel like I would be friends with Kirk Cousins outside of me being in sports radio in Atlanta and him being the quarterback that hit an injury and also was really dumb and talked before he should have said anything, cost us a 5th round draft pick. Like the amount of money that the Falcons spent on Kirk Cousins, the draft pick that we lost because this man, like I said, went and said, "Oh yeah, I was talking with the doctors flying up here last week." It's like, what are we doing, Kirk? But it feels like he's so innocent. And then he comes out Super Bowl week and he was like, "Oh yeah, actually, that New Orleans game, I got hurt. And so I was really playing hurt the whole time, the back half of the season." But like, I mean, I never want to take myself out. And yeah, the way that was totally mismanaged between him and the Falcons just made everybody look incredibly dumb and made me extremely frustrated towards him. And why I say I feel like I have turned into a bad person because of Kirk Cousins is when Justin Fields went down last week in New York, the way I was like, "Yeah, baby, let's go." Like the Jets lost Justin Fields. We know the trade is happening, and I shouldn't be rooting for quarterback injuries in the league. But I feel like that's where the Falcons have put me, and that's where Kirk Cousins has put me as someone who was just waiting it out because, yeah, that's like what the Falcons are doing. They are waiting out someone to get desperate enough to go, "Yeah, we will pay 15 or we'll pay $10 million of the $20 million that Kirk Cousins is owed. We'll take on that and we'll send you back a 3rd round pick or something like that." Like I feel like the Falcons really want to hold a team, over the barrel, so to speak, and be able to get something back because Kirk costs them so much that it's also just kind of led to this super awkward thing where like we're still talking to him. Like Kirk Cousins is still coming to the podium once a week as the backup quarterback for us to be like, "Yeah, what's your thoughts on how Kyle is looking?" And DJ Chark's still in the league and making it work. Like it's just all of this kind of awkwardness. And even the Falcons social media team they're cutting up clips because he threw a really good ball to Bijan. Like it's so awkward. And I really wish
the quarterback's documentary has made him into a star with the other people. Like my wife she does not love the football. I'll tell you that. So the fact that
she knows he shops at Kohl's.
Oh, she loves it. We watched the whole documentary, and then honestly, the fact that she saw him in season 2, we're on it. We're watching football now. So she was very pumped that when he came to Atlanta, the whole thing. She loves Kirk Cousins. So his stardom away from the football fans is going to put him in spots like that, unfortunately.
And I just say too, like the great clips thing really pissed me off because the man was clearly just cutting an ad for great clips. There's a barber shop in the Falcons facility. Like, the man could go just walk in, and we're not getting anything difficult. Kirk Cousins keeping it simple, but he is a smart businessman, and he goes, "Oh, an opportunity for me to act like I'm your," because that's like what Kirk does, is he acts like he's your everyday kind of guy. And to some extent, he was before, I think before the money came into play, he was just your average guy. And so a lot of those things have stuck around. Like, he is still shopping at Kohl's and wearing the clothes that his wife lays out for him and all that sort of thing. But on the business side, he knows in that competitive side of being a quarterback, like he wants the opportunity to prove everybody wrong. And the Falcons have no interest of doing that here in Atlanta. They just want to make it work somewhere else. And so, yeah, the season 2 of quarterbacks would just, he's such an incredibly like boring person, especially amongst the rest of the guys who were on that show. Cause I like Joe Burrow is so interesting to learn about. And I love everything, but then Kirk pops up on the screen and is like, "Hey, I'm just your, I'm gonna go down to Buffalo Wild Wings and have dinner with the family." And it's like, I mean, you seem like you'd be corny, it'd be fun to hang around, and I dislike you so much because of the football side of things.
Yeah, Mickey thought this man was going to take y'all to the promised land after
on everything I did, man. I was about to get a chains, all that, man.
Yeah, I was really glad. So one of my close friends, who is a big Falcons fan here in Atlanta, was about to last season get a Kirk Cousins jersey. And I feel like I gave him some of the best advice. I said, go, instead of the 200 on the jersey, go for the $40 jersey. Get the t-shirt that's got his, because I feel like you're going to get your use out of the jersey, and then you can move on and you don't feel like you've wasted your money. And yeah, I feel like I have talked to him since, where it was kind of like that was a good choice.
Smart move.
But I have also seen, and I felt it was wild. So with me covering the Hawks, towards the end of the season, like when Cousins was gone, it was Penix timed. He was kind of running the show for the right there at the end of the season. Someone showed up to a Hawks game in a Kirk Cousins jersey. And at first I was so like, what are you doing? But then I thought, well, it's not like you can really feel that good going to a Falcons game right now wearing your Kirk Cousins jersey. So you spent money on it, and you want to go to a sporting event and show it off. Like, I guess I feel bad for anyone who, like, what's the return policy on any of those things with Fanatics? I don't know, but yeah, I feel like there's a lot of upset Falcons fans. I was not on board. And I am mad at myself that being in Atlanta radio, I opted for the, like, hey, you know what? Maybe this can work. Because going in, I was like, you're talking about a guy coming off an Achilles injury, and he's supposed to just show up day one, turn this thing around. Like, no, that's not going to happen. But we got into training camp, and I talked to him, and he's got that charm, and it was like, all right, yeah, this could work. And nope,
he does have the charm, dude.
Yeah,
it's real.
Go ahead, Malk.
Nah, you're good, man. You got any more questions NFL related? Jay, you've been quiet, bro. I know he's standing up. What'd you say?
He's saving up.
Oh, he's saving up? Okay.
I've got a couple more Falcon questions.
No, go for it, G.
Okay, so before I ask about Raheem Morris, I want to ask another personnel question. And I mentioned him briefly when I asked you about the secondary wide receivers. Didn't say much about him because he's probably not going to have much of an impact when it comes to the receiving game. But where he may have some impact is the return game. Talk to me about Jamal Agnew and the difference maker that he's going to be as a return guy, not only kick returns, but punt returns, and hopefully elevating the special teams a little bit for the Falcons.
Yeah, that's been an area that kind of Ray McCloud has handled, as of recent, at least for the Falcons. And so Jamal definitely is getting some run in with the special teamers. it's hard for me to judge, honestly, at this point of what we're seeing in training camp of anyone doing anything just like crazy impressive that makes you go like, oh wow, this guy is really kind of changing the special teams game. It is my understanding that Jamal is going to be the punt returner, but that kicks are going to still stay with Ray McLeod. And so it's one of those, like, the Falcons haven't been bad in that area per se, but I think certainly bringing speed of any sort is you're never going to turn that sort of a thing down. I'm interested. He is, as far as like the wide receiver position, he's got a lot of run with kind of the back half of the roster. Not really getting too many. So he's getting throws from Kirk Cousins a lot of the time. And I don't know that Kirk has gone Jamal's way a ton, at least from what I can kind of remember of seeing, and then what I've seen from other guys. Because a buddy of mine who covers the Falcons for 929 The Game, Joe Patrick, he's been out there more than I have, and nothing particularly that kind of stands out to you about Jamal, but certainly just he is a veteran. He's been around this league. And he's got speed, and so I think that'll help. But I still I don't know that he's kind of any big game changer or any of those core of the wide receivers after the Drake Londons and the Darnell Mooneys. Like it's a bit iffy that you're hoping Michael Penix Jr. can elevate those guys, and even that's kind of asking a lot for a guy who is going to his first season as the starter.
Yeah, and honestly, look, I don't believe that Jamal Agnew is going to have much of an impact from the receiving standpoint either. I was hoping special teams between him and Ray McLeod could do some things and hopefully elevate and make some hay there, give Michael Penix Jr. Some better starting position, if you will, on punts and kicks. So we'll see what happens there. But I want to also ask you about Raheem Morris. And first of all, what have you seen different out of him from year 1 to year 2? And what do you think he needs to do a little differently going into year 2 to have a little bit more success, in your opinion?
So we got to talk with Falcons owner Arthur Blank, and it's interesting when you get to talk to the owner and you ask him questions that are potentially softball questions. And he was asked about Raheem Morris. And so you're thinking this is his opportunity to say, hey, year 2 of Raheem, big believer. He is he is kind of getting more pieces, especially on the defensive side of things. Jeff Ulbrich getting brought in, having that experience on that side of the ball. Like, this is all going to go in a really positive way. And Arthur Blank goes, yeah, we're really we're hoping that Raheem studies more on in-game time management, and that's an area that gets better this year. That certainly is an area that needs to grow. Like, bro, that the owner is supposed to instill confidence in everyone. And I feel like he just kind of like loaded the arrow and let it fire of like, yeah, Raheem, you're easily expendable. And I think the difficult thing that I have, and I kind of explained a little bit earlier when it comes to players as well, is when you like the person, it makes you want to like them in their job. And so I think the thing with Raheem is if he was on the Falcons staff like he was in the past as a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, some type of position coach or whatever, I think I would feel a lot more better about him, honestly. I think in the role that he is as head coach, as decision maker, as the guy who is hiring people, I get a little bit concerned with Arthur Blank as a whole and his decisions to, like, Raheem is someone familiar. Jeff Ulbrich is someone familiar. And so I've not been the biggest fan of how they've gone about building this staff. It doesn't mean that it can't be great. And can't surprise me and shut me up and make me look dumb. But I think the retread aspect of things has been an area that I have not been the biggest fan of, because Raheem, the person, and the guy who is going and talking with players, like, I get why players want to play for Raheem Morris, because to some extent he's one of the guys, like true players coach, how Pete Carroll and other people, Mike Tomlin, get talked about. But I just don't know that when it comes time to put on the headset to make the in-game decisions, like Arthur Smith alluding to time management being a bit of a problem, I don't know that I'm the biggest believer in him. And I'm very curious to see in year 2 if some of the issues that popped up last year, and even things like Kirk Cousins needed to be handled differently. Kirk Cousins needed to have been benched in that New Orleans game or the week after. You didn't need to wait until the wheels completely fell off and you went, like a 5-game span where Cousins threw 9 interceptions without a touchdown. And so like the really difficult decisions are where I feel like I question Raheem. And I feel like he needs to show me, and he needs to show the fan base as a whole, that those are areas that he's gotten better at and that his staff has gotten better at.
All right, quick break. Let's give a little love to one of our sponsors, Steel City Brand. If you're from Pittsburgh or just love that blue-collar grit, Steel City's got you covered. Literally, from vintage sports tees to iconic Berg designs, their gear is bold, local, and built to last. If you happen to be in the Pittsburgh area, check out their stores locally, or more simply, head to their shop online, shopsteelcity.com. To rep the Steel City in style and use promo code ChatItUp15 for 15% off your online order. Steel City, built with blood, sweat, and steel.
Got any more football questions, Jay?
Not for this Atlanta team.
Should we let Joseph loose?
Yeah, I think it's time.
It's about time. What?
I can talk about
the Dawgs.
3 hours, but
I know you can.
I want to be mindful because we got some dogs in the building. So
We do have a dog.
I've got one Falcons question.
Hey,
and
now
it's a small
okay.
personal Falcons question, Caleb. So one of the signings that the Falcons made was actually not a draft; it was an undrafted free agent. It was Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a big time cornerback coming out of Kansas. Where are you at with Kobe? Have you heard anything? Is he going to make the roster? Like personal feelings wise, do you think he's going to make the roster? How do you feel about Kobe Bryant in general?
I am as on the fence on Kobe Bryant as you could possibly be. And that's because when they signed him along with Nick Nash, who got brought in, and he's a wide receiver that I didn't mention, but, coming out of not San Diego State, San Jose, with Nick Nash on the wide receiver side of things, he could be someone that blossoms later. He was signed along with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe was the guy that I was thinking of earlier, who was torched by Travis Hunter, but the rest of the time looked really good. And I think is undersized, but has that skill set that makes you go, wow, like that guy can play. Now, the problem is, I have word on the street is that he is, especially, his playing days kind of from Kansas carrying over to the league, that he's not the most easy to deal with person. That one of the reasons why he did not get drafted is the red flags are that, a bit difficult, maybe a bit too self-centered. He's going to be he's going to be putting on the seatbelt when he, was on the opposite side of the field from the play. So I think,
yes, sir.
The thing with Kobe and what I love is on the social media side of things, he got to spend a lot of time this past week, dealing and talking with and learning from Jesse Bates. And so does that kind of blossom into some maturity from Jesse being like, hey man, like let's chill out a little bit. Let's focus on making the team. Let's play a team game. And I think that's going to be his best bet of, is he willing to do all of the gritty things, like all of the stuff that no one else wants to do, because he is the bottom of the totem pole. He is the undrafted free agent coming in the room who's going to be spending a lot of time on special teams. And so the very early look at him was them going through warmups, and then he walked off the field and he was put on the non-football injury list. And then he has since, just in the last couple of days, come back off of that. So he's all good to go and has been in camp, but I really haven't seen him spend a whole lot of time on the field getting those kind of like 11 on 11 opportunities. And so I want him to make the team. I want him to be a bigger part because I think the potential is so there. It's just the red flags that people stayed away from him in the draft. You get a little bit concerned of how does he handle that now that he is on, with the team and fighting for a spot. Is he willing to do all of the stuff that maybe he feels is beneath him?
Interesting. Well, I remember him at Kansas being, I think, all Big 12 his sophomore year. And there was a lot of hype come for him as a cornerback in the draft. And then, it didn't happen. Kansas didn't have a good season at all last year. So that kind of played into it. But good, I'm with you. I hope he makes the team. I'd like to see him have some success. And hopefully Jesse Bates can kind of get in there and be like, hey, man, you need to change the way you go about things if you really want to make it in this league.
Yeah,
but if we're shifting, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna get off social media. Like, I think that was a big thing for him.
Yeah, just throw your phone in a lake, dude. Just toss it in a lake and don't worry about it. Because you can come back to that. But if we're shifting gears to college football, as the guys told you, I know you said they ship you out to Athens.
Look at that smile.
On occasion.
That smile. He's
He
loving it.
looks at camera.
T-minus 28 minutes till football, baby.
to cover the Dogs a little bit. I, as you heard from the guys, am an absolute fanatic. Not just, I am a huge Georgia fan, but I also just love college football in general.
Okay.
We talked about the clip that went viral a little bit. I want to know your thoughts. We know what Chase thinks about Gunnar Stockton. What does Caleb think about Gunnar Stockton? And how do you feel about the Dogs going into 2025?
Okay, so I will preface this by saying, like, I technically cover the Dogs for our station, but Athens is 2 hours away from my house, and so that's very much I go out there for game day, and I have my friends who cover them on a more regular basis that I can send a text and be like, hey, how did so and so look, and that sort of a thing, but for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of the same things that you guys have seen as far as the on the field product, specifically when it comes to Gunnar, the way that he looked against Notre Dame. The question marks are there and they're valid. I think the thing that I love about Gunnar and the confidence that Kirby Smart showed Gunnar by having him be a part of SEC Media Days was like, okay, so all of the talk that we're kind of doing behind the scenes of, hey, how's Ryan Puglisi going to look when he comes into camp? Because everyone thinks he's going to be able to steal Gunnar's job. Well, then Kirby brings Gunnar to SEC Media Days, and Gunnar is good old country boy. I just care about my Ford pickup truck and my 14 cows that I've got. Dude, I feel like this is the type of quarterback that fits Georgia from a personality standpoint. I got to deal with the Carson Beck side of things, which was, the amount of time that he spent talking about Rod Wave when we were not asking him actual football questions was concerning, because I know there's been plenty of jokes about I essentially, the way that Carson acted on the field and off the field is how you want your wide receivers or your DBs. You want your quarterback to be man of the people. He's not trying to be cool and fit in with the group, which Carson was always trying to do things that made him fit in. And it was so forced, but it was also all right, well, he's the guy though, so we got to make this thing work. And I think what you get with Gunnar, he is all about football. That he loves his cows and he'll get to them in the off season. But when it's time to, kind of get in between the lines, he is ready to play. And I think the part that Georgia fans got really excited about, and maybe a little bit too excited about, is, oh, he's got wheels. This man can really run the ball. And adding that element is something that obviously Georgia not had a ton of. Had it with Stetson, but in a bit of a different way that Kirby and you know they never really wanted to hone in on, and it felt like they were far more comfortable, especially Mike Bobo, comfortable in using Gunnar Stockton's running ability, but then you forgot about the like, oh yeah, but he does actually have to throw the ball and be accurate with it, and the one opportunity where he really needed to make it shine, because the Texas game is really, I feel like, not a fair assessment, because there was just so much chaos going on that it was a free for all, and it was a let it rip. But also, even if Georgia lost that game, they were still going to be fine. Notre Dame was a completely different situation where like it was on the line that he needed to show up, and I feel like the accuracy problems really stood out as to like, okay, you're not a freshman. You've been in this system for a while, and so you really need to show up. In the same respect, though, it's hard when you're throwing to Arian Smith right in the hands, and he can't seem to catch a pass. And Georgia had, I think, the most drops amongst any D1 program last year. And unfortunately, like I got to see it time and time again where you're like, oh, big play, and cool, dropped it. And so I think the fact that Kirby recognized that and went into the portal and said, yeah, I'm going to pick some of the, best receivers that I can find. And in fact, Drew Butler, former Georgia punter, and he kind of stuck around with the NFL for a little bit. He's on our radio station in 929 The Game. He was hanging out with Matthew Stafford a week ago, who was like, hey, that guy Zachariah Branch, that guy's a dog. Like I would have him on the Rams tomorrow. And the fact that you get that big of a vote of confidence from a guy like Matthew Stafford makes me feel like, okay, even if Gunnar isn't perfect, even if he is towards the bottom of the league when it comes to, the SEC quarterback play, they're still not doomed if they have really solid pass catchers, and he has those safety blankets that Georgia's had in the past when they were successful with your Brock Bowers, with your Ladd McConkeys, and the like.
I'm with you. And I think when we did our assessments of like first year starting quarterbacks, I kind of had the feeling that Gunnar fits more in this box of what Kirby wants the offense to look like, or what Kirby will allow Mike Bobo to let the offense look like. Let's be honest here.
That's the other part of it too.
Kirby has a box, and he's like, Mike, you got to stay in this box. We're doing this. Gunnar fits that system more, and he feels like, not saying he will be Stetson, but he feels like more of that Stetson-esque type of player. And they get Noah Thomas as well from the portal. Colby Young's back. Dylan Bell can kind of recede back into that like third receiver role, because last year you're kind of having to ascend him into a, hey, Dylan, we need you to be a wide receiver one, and he's never really been that. Yeah, he's kind of like a Wish.com Debo Samuel.
The classic, the classic meme of like, you're not that guy. Yeah, that was the man. We had people on our radio station and people who covered Georgia like legitimately going Dylan Bell for Heisman going into last season, and I was like, really? Like
crazy.
Maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough. Like maybe I'm just missing something. And then we got into the season. It was like, oh no, this is a little bit too much dip on your chip.
Yeah, exactly. And where a lot of that comes from is people like to remember, and sorry, this is not a personal shot at you guys. People like to remember his performance in the 2023 Tennessee game.
Yeah.
Where he pulled like a straight up Debo Samuel in that game, where he threw a touchdown and had a rushing touchdown and had rushing yards and had a receiving touchdown. It's like he kind of did it all, and they're like, this could be the next guy. And they're expecting him to take what I think a lot of Georgia fans going into this season are expecting Zachariah Branch to be. And it's like, guys, Dylan's good, but he doesn't have the ceiling that Zachariah does. Like, he doesn't have that level that he can ascend to, that I think a lot of Georgia fans, myself kind of included, are hoping that Zachariah Branch will be this season.
Yeah, because I was actually gonna ask you guys that. Like, I'll go Caleb first, and then I was gonna ask you just like, do you feel like they're gonna use Zachariah, because this is gonna look a little different with Gunnar? I don't think we're gonna have 42 passes a game, but do you think they're going to turn Zachariah into more like a utility guy, the Percy Harvin type. Like, I mean, he's going to have to do a lot more and you're going to have to get creative. Do you think this is going to be a pretty interesting offense with Zachariah being a heavy focal point?
Yeah, I think it's always tough when you're trying to compare guys, and not to say that he is necessarily going to be the Lad McConkey of this group. But I think because you've seen that prototype in this system with Mike Bobo, that you're like, okay, so it is possible for, to some extent, a plug and play of getting that type of player who has the speed, isn't necessarily the tallest guy, but has great hands. And so I think that's really what they're hoping for from a Zachariah Branch. I'm more interested to see who takes on the roles that we've seen of those, I guess, more solid bodied receiver that is more of the kind of blanket receiver guy that Gunner can fall back to, because I don't know that anyone last year ever really made themselves that guy. I think Arian Smith wanted to be that guy, and it never really just kind of came to fruition. And then, as we talked about Dylan Bell, like, I think his success came as being more of a gadgety guy where no one knew, is he coming out of the backfield? Is he going out wide? Where is he going to be on the field? Like, that worked more in their favor than him being that guy who was really going to beat people, even though he had more of the, especially like the weight wise, he had more of that frame that could handle it. And I don't think that Zachariah, obviously being a smaller guy, like, he's not going to handle that as well. He's going to have to be more shifty. But I still think they're going to find success in, the guys they've gone to get. I think the running game is still going to be the biggest part. I'm very interested to see what Josh McCray, transferring in from Illinois, is going to look like, what he's going to add to a group that is in a bit of transition as far as, the running back room. Nate Frazier kind of taking a step and all of that sort of thing. That's still going to be the, kind of the meat and potatoes of this Georgia offense, that I'm very interested to see what Kirby does allow Mike Bobo to do, because I don't know that Kirby is the biggest fan of having like a super mobile quarterback, but within the, like, he can get outside of the pocket, and we're not necessarily calling runs for him specifically, but then they showed that they were willing to do that with Gunner. So it feels like, hey, maybe we're evolving a bit. But the one thing that Kirby has always been about, and is going to continue on this team, whether it's the quarterback position or not, is he values veterans over new guys walking in. And that's even from the transfer portal. Like, if you've been around college football for some time, you're going to get more of an opportunity on this Georgia offense, and defense for that matter, but more specifically the offense. You're going to get more opportunities because you've been around than the guys who were just walking in from high school. And you really have to fight for those opportunities when you're the younger guy.
Something interesting that just came across, Caleb and Joseph, if you want to chime in on this as well. Talking a lot about Gunner Stockton and how much we believe in him and all these other things. But Oscar Delp said to reporters earlier on Tuesday, there's nobody I trust more when it comes to, Gunner Stockton, and their roommates. So obviously they're boys, and he's going to have his boys back. But, I think that says something, being his roommate, getting a chance to sort of see his drive and see him day in and day out on the football field, off the football field, and what he's like, and potentially his ability to handle the moment and handle being the starting quarterback all the way throughout the season.
Yeah, I like Oscar a lot. I think it was unfortunate, quite honestly, for Oscar Delp that he had to follow essentially what is going to be the greatest tight end to come through the University of Georgia. Like, sorry, Randy McMichael, who I work with, great tight end in his day, made a mistake, but like the fact that you have to follow up that level of greatness made a lot of people, I think, quite honestly, disappointed in Oscar Delp and what he could bring to this Georgia offense. I think because he wasn't that automatic kind of safety blanket that Carson Beck had in the past. So I am not surprised that Oscar would be that confident, just because I'm sure that he's been working in the off season. Those two guys, Gunnar and Oscar, have been working together to build that comfort. That especially like even with the fact that Ryan's been around the system, but still not in the same way. I'm not surprised that he kind of leans on Gunnar to be that guy. And you just want to instill confidence, like until Kirby makes a move in which like Gunnar Stockton's going to start week 1 against Marshall. He would have to have either kind of a Jacob Eason route of getting hurt and then getting getting swapped there, or just having to play so poorly, quite honestly, that that Kirby decides to pull him. It wouldn't happen until week 3, which terrifies me, because guys, the fact that Georgia Tennessee is week 3 on the schedule blows my mind.
Let's get it.
Just absolutely blows my mind. That what are we doing, schedule makers? Like, we're supposed to warm up the season before we start getting to these type of games, and we're just
No. We've been
Bam,
playing
right out
Georgia
the
later
gate.
in this. We've been playing Georgia later in the season. And it has not worked out. So let's get them early. Let's see if we can get them while they're
we've
vulnerable.
been playing Florida early in the season too for a while. It's not, so,
Well,
I don't-
Florida's different.
yeah, it's true. It's just like we'll see.
Well, that's, I mean, I will say at least Georgia fans don't have to worry about facing Nico. It'll be whatever option you guys decide to throw out at quarterback.
Caleb, why you trying to hurt me, man?
Hey, look, week three, both sides might be trying to figure out their quarterback situation. Who knows? I
think 95% of the SEC teams are going to be figuring out their quarterback situation. Or 90%. I guess I think we're all Gus Nussmeier.
Yeah, he's got it.
Who's else for sure?
Nussmeier, Lenore Sellers is starting.
Lenore Sellers,
Lagway
may not even be there.
Marcel Reed.
He's entered already. I mean,
Marcel Reed. Yeah, Marcel Reed's. They owe it to Marcel Reed to stick with Marcel Reed at Texas A&M.
They do.
To see what that offense can be with
kid
Le'Veon
at Texas.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you can't forget Arch.
Yeah,
Some
I don't know how
kid.
we got Arch.
The heir apparent the number 1 overall pick apparently next year. We're just so sure that he's going to be that great.
Yeah, he's going to be fantastic. National champions, Heisman, the whole thing.
Dude.
Sure.
That's what everybody says.
I'll save my money on that.
Caleb, how do you feel that for like the first time in like the turn of the decade, the Georgia Bulldogs aren't the SEC favorites heading into the season? What is that noise like?
It's weird. I don't like it. Because here's the thing: when like Georgia fans are truly annoying people, and this is coming from someone who is a Georgia fan. The fact that I am, I can be out in public and wearing a Georgia shirt, and a grown man will get in my face and bark at me. And yes, that happened to me 2 weeks ago at a local barbecue restaurant. A guy, I'm having dinner with family. No, yeah, let's go Dogs. Like, just straight up walks up and I'm like, what are we doing, man? And so the frustrating part about Georgia fans is when things are going right, when there's reasons to be optimistic, you're going to find Georgia fans who are, I don't know. I just don't know about this team. Give them real reason to question, a team in which obviously the most comfortable thing you have is Kirby Smart. Like this man is the best head coach in all of college football, bar none. And I don't think there's really that much of a debate. I just think the way that he's having to put together a different roster because of NIL certainly has affected things. It's now he's one that will, hey, I'll go with the times and I'll do whatever, kind of in the way that Nick Saban handled it. But I know that he's annoyed where he's used to, hey, once we have spring, I know exactly who's going to be on my roster. And now that so much more of that is up in the air, and you get these question marks about, hey, so how early in the season can things kind of get a little wonky? when you have, Tennessee, Alabama back to back, and then you have Texas later in the season, that how are you going to handle kind of these big hurdles? Certainly can't sleep on, an Ole Miss team and that sort of thing. That because there are more question marks and this isn't looked at as a top team, that it's kind of like Georgia fans when they've been at the top, we can talk badly about our team, but you guys don't do it. And now they're in a position where, man, we don't necessarily feel great about this team. We're a little unsure, and everyone else is too, has caused for a lot of annoyance, if I'm quite honest.
No doubt.
Anything else, boys?
I know
I'm
you
gonna
got.
cut myself. I'm gonna cut myself off.
No, dude, go have at it. We wanting you to
Well,
do it, Joseph.
all right. So, Caleb, I know you said you're not super deep in the weeds, but you are a Georgia fan.
Yes.
How do you feel about Elo Mendoza? He's the Army transfer. He's coming in to play Jack. I know we were kind of not able to get the most pressure last year, but he was a highly touted transfer. He had a really good season, but he played at Army. What are your thoughts?
That's the biggest thing for me is I keep having people tell me how great this guy can be. And the thought is kind of like, yeah, but he did come from Army. Now, the simple fact that there were so many people going after him in the transfer portal and that Georgia was the one to be able to make it happen, that does make me feel good. Because I mean, you want to be able to go get kind of those top guys who are available. I quite honestly, I have not seen enough tape on him. It's not like I was watching Army outside of Army Navy game. So outside of that, like I don't know that a ton sticks out for me. It is just all of the conversation that I have heard kind of coming from Georgia writers who are following this team in Athens on a much more closely basis. They're ready for this guy to be a big piece of this defense, to kind of show up and kind of plug some holes that I think you had good enough pass rushers last year, but Georgia's been so spoiled by the guys who are obviously in the league now, who are showing out, that you want kind of some of more of those impressive pieces who are going after the quarterback, because I do think one of the big things that hurt Georgia defense last year was that secondary outside of Malachi Starks was not impressive. I mean, the simple fact that you had guys essentially kind of quitting midway through the season to go transfer other places,
Yeah.
there was not a lot of confidence instilled. I unfortunately was on the sidelines for Georgia, Alabama, where things were going horrible in that first half, and then things turned around, and they let media on the field with like 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and I picked the end zone that Georgia was scoring on, and so I was feeling really good about kind of the turn of that game. But the way the Georgia secondary couldn't hold on, and a lot of it was because no one could truly rush the passer. I think that's why the expectations are there for the Army transfer. Just kind of anybody, please make a difference here.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up Malachi, because I think a lot of people last year thought Malachi kind of had a down season. But when we talked about Georgia games in last year's, it felt like he carried a lot of the weight of the secondary. And it felt like in prior years, Malachi's freshman year when he kind of came on, and his sophomore year, he felt like he had more trust in those guys that sat behind him, versus his junior year last year. He was kind of like, okay, I have to make sure everybody's in the right spot. I have to make sure, like, are you going to bust this coverage? Okay, I've got this guy, but you're not going with that guy, so I got to go this way. Like, it felt like watching Malachi last year, it kind of felt like he didn't have the most trust in the rest of the guys back there, outside of like maybe Dalen.
Yeah,
who showed up in the Texas game.
I think the leadership aspect of that is a really big factor, where Kirby would come post game a lot of the time and talk about the fact that guys were playing out of position. Guys were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And I think some of the time he was talking about Malachi Starks, who felt like he didn't have the level of trust that he needed with the other guys in the secondary, and felt like I need to go make, and some of that like ball hawk skills you still want to have. And it's the reason why, the Ravens went and drafted him and added him to that secondary. And I think he's going to be a great pro because he has those instincts. But secondary to that, no pun intended, is the simple fact of when he feels like he's got to do other people's job, then that puts him out of position, and makes him look exposed. And so I think that was, especially Georgia fans really got a hold of some of those blown coverages that he was a part of, that you were thinking, oh man, he's having a really down year. And I'm thinking, I just don't think that he trusts the other guys who are on the field in the secondary. And then, like I mentioned, like the pass rush, I think Christian Miller has got to show a lot more potential than what he's done in the past, because he was a name. Like, he was a name that you expected a lot from. And it's not to say by any stretch of the imagination that he was bad or anything. But I think you need some of these big boys to show up on that defensive line to give the secondary more confidence. And I think that's kind of what showed with Malachi last year.
Yeah, and we're definitely expecting a more Georgia-like defensive line this year, because I think Kristen Miller could take the next step. I'd like to see Jordan Hall be healthy for the whole year, because I know last year he was in and out and off, and it's like when he was playing, it's like, well, is he really playing? We got him back for the Texas game, and it's like, is he really 100%? He doesn't really look like it, and so I'm hoping Jordan Hall can stay healthy and kind of help Kristen Miller on the interior of the defensive line.
Nasir Johnson. Nasir Johnson's the other one.
Yeah.
Like, that dude is was he 350 pounds, I think?
Dude, so like I think so.
Big boy.
Like
big dude.
Yeah, he's like 6'6", 350. He's massive. And he's 18 years old. Like, he's gonna get bigger.
They didn't make those back in 2009.
No.
Nah.
They were just fat like Terrence Cody. Like, that's
yeah,
the best.
we had Matt Cody, dog. Like,
sorry, Tennessee fans. I don't mean to,
Why do you keep trying to hurt me, man?
Yeah, he keeps telling us, Miggy, that he's not trying to do this, but obviously that shitty grin says the other way. You know what I'm saying?
What you want to do?
Yeah, just it's memory.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so what Caleb didn't tell y'all is that he's got some Tennessee ties, and he lived in Tennessee for a little bit, but he's also going to be coming back to Tennessee. A former Chattanooga lookout just hit a home run by the name of Ellie De La Cruz. He is going to be going to Bristol to face the Atlanta Braves. And Caleb, you're going to see, I believe, the first Major League Baseball ever game played in Tennessee ever at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, they're about to accomplish two things. It's going to be the largest attended Major League Baseball game ever, because they've already sold over 85,000 85,000 seats.
Yep.
They've sold to this game. Of course, like, you guys are familiar with when there's been a college football game. Was it Tennessee Virginia Tech?
Yes, it was, sir.
Yeah. See, good memory that you guys
appreciate it, man.
Out of that one. But see, you know how many people can fit in Bristol Motor Speedway, and they obviously had to alter it because there was a ton of obstructed views, and there still are. They're selling tickets. The only ones that I saw left were for like $25, and it says fully obstructed view. And I don't necessarily know what that means, other than like, yeah, you can't see the field.
Can't see shit.
And so I'm wondering, do you just want to be in the atmosphere?
Yeah, it is. And let me tell you why. Because what happens is, have you guys been up there? Have you guys been to Bristol at all?
I saw a NASCAR race in the All-Star race in 2020.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. See, perfect. So like, you know how you still, it's not, there's not like something in your way. It's just the flatness of that and where the baseball field's going to sit. One of my good friends still works there. And I was like, because actually funny enough, because I saw like a little small article or something Twitter about like who's going to buy these or something like that. And so I asked them about it, and they're like, "Well, it's just like where you're sitting. Like if you have like this view, it's just so bad that we have to put it in there."
Disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just part of being the atmosphere. That's how I felt when I went to Bristol. I was like, I don't know if it's the most exciting game to watch because of where you're at, but it's like sick that you're a part of history.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is because for a NASCAR race, it's great because I don't think there's a bad seat in the place when it comes to a race, but for a baseball game, I think they're trying to do two things here. One is hey, we get to claim the biggest audience that we've ever had for a Major League Baseball game, and also first Major League Baseball game to get played in the state of Tennessee, because I'm sure you guys hear it more often than I do living there that Nashville really is after a team, wants to put something together, and I think this is their opportunity to test the waters per se. I still, as someone who covers the Braves and as a diehard Braves fan since I was, from birth, I'm still would love to keep Tennessee as Braves country, just because, kind of adds to the aura of the team that continues to have all kinds of fans from all over the country. But, and it helps for this game because they said they sold tickets to someone from every state, from all 50 states, bought a ticket to this game. I'm kind of curious where the press box is going to be because, quite honestly, with these type of events, they don't put us in the best spot. Like Georgia, this past season, they built a new press box area because they built like a whole extra suite. And you used to be at Sanford Stadium, you were on the 45, 50-yard line staring right out on the home side. It was one of the best views, in my opinion, in college football, as far as media, kind of seats. And then they stuck us up in the crow's nest. And so I'm very interested to see where the media view is going to be for this game, as to whether it's obstructed in any way or kind of difficult to see. But just the fact of having history, the fact that Bristol, they bulldozed some buildings in order to build this ballpark, is so cool. I am sad the fact that Ronald Acuna Jr. got hurt this past week, so he's not a part of the game. So thankfully, Ellie is a part of this. I was actually able to talk with him at the All-Star game that was just in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and he's such a infectious, fun personality type of guy. And so they're going to be leaning really hard on the Cincinnati side of this more than in Atlanta because Atlanta is so bad right now. But still, no matter who is on the field, it is Major League Baseball players, and it is something that we've never seen before. And as someone who is a NASCAR fan and a baseball fan, getting to kind of see this all combine, the checkerboard on the jerseys, the flames on the jerseys, all that sort of thing is just really cool. And I'm excited to get to see it play out, even though it's going to be a quick trip for me, quick turnaround, but it's what you do to make history happen and then go host my own show on Sunday.
Attaboy. Yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround for you. But, man, outside of the environment being electric and it being unique and how many people are going to be there and all of that, I just saw the pitching matchup for Saturday, and talk about electric. Despite how bad the Braves have played this year, and as a Mets fan, I'm absolutely loving it. I eat it up as much as I can because it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But the Reds are right in the thick of things, and on the bump, you've got Strider versus Chase Burns, obviously a former Tennessee Vol, and then Strider's been, just incredible since he's come up with that mustache and everything along those lines. So, talk to me a little bit about this matchup, and I know you're worried about where you may be as a press member, but talk to me about what you're most excited about when it comes to not only the matchup but just the environment and the atmosphere and what it's going to be like, since you said you've been to races before too.
Yeah, I think as far as the pitching matchup, as good as it could get, I think from both sides, quite honestly. I was really nervous about what the Braves were going to be able to offer because it would have been real awkward to get, Bryce Elder or even
Carlos
worse,
Carrasco.
Carlos Carrasco, 38-year-old Carlos Carrasco, who with literally the Yankees were like, here, take him. You just need a fresh body.
Feel bad for you.
So the fact that you get Spencer Strider, who is easily one of my favorite players on this team, not only because of how he pitches on the field, but because of the way that he thinks. He is such an interesting person to kind of get to talk to, because he's just not your average person. He is a deep thinker. He is kind of a hippie in a sort of way. He's an old soul. He's really into vinyl records, and so they've done a promotion last year, and they're doing another one this year where they're giving away at Truist Park vinyl records from bands that Spencer went and kind of collaborated with. And the fact that you get the Tennessee aspect of this, because I actually got to meet Spencer when he was in Knoxville, Tennessee. A buddy of mine, David Shealy, who used to work for the TV station up there with you guys, he was hanging out with someone who was apparently Spencer's roommate, and it was getting ready to move out, and they were kind of doing a throwing session, and I was coming through Knoxville because I was headed up to Asheville. And so my buddy David was able to kind of make the connect there. And that's helped me just have some sort of a relationship with Spencer. And he, like I said, he's just a really interesting guy and a dominant pitcher that has thankfully been able to come back from injury this season and show that, hey, a second Tommy John kills a lot of guys. But at least for right now, and I have to find some wood to knock on, at least for right now, Spencer Strider is intact and he is pitching at the top of his game. And that's going to be the thing that I think for the fans that show up is they're clearly there for history. They're there for a good time. There's the fact that they combined Pitbull and Tim McGraw as the opening artists for the game. Like,
Amazing.
why not?
Just because.
Yeah, sure. That
It's
works.
Bristol, baby.
Yeah, but I mean, it's essentially they didn't tell Tim or Pitbull that it was a baseball game. They were just like, "Oh, you're going to Bristol, sure." I mean, Pitbull's like, I own a team, so everything's fine. But no, I think just from the I'm very interested to see what the atmosphere is like, because that's a lot of people to fit in a stadium, and I know they do it on a regular basis, for those NASCAR races, and they do it just fine. I got to see it in a different element because I saw it. It was during COVID. It was when NASCAR was the only sporting event going on. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I need to get out of the house. Like, I have been in this apartment way too long, and we can go outside. And I'm 10 feet away from the next closest person, but I'm at least getting to see some kind of sporting event. And me being a Georgia kid, I got to see the Georgia kid, Chase Elliott, win at that point. But I got to see how they handle the Jumbotron that they're going to use for this game, kind of suspended above the field. Like, that feels like it's going to be a really cool element that you're not going to get at any other baseball stadium. And so I think all of the uniqueness of this game, you just hope that the product on the field shows up. The one thing that I'm very concerned about, and it is going to be when I show up on Saturday, the first thing that I beeline to the field and go look at is the grass. Because I saw early on they were rolling out the grass and it looked like carpet. And so I hope that is not the case, that it is not nearly as 1980s AstroTurf as it looked, and hopefully they've gotten that all worked out and there aren't seams and that sort of a thing. But that would be the only part of it that I think could be a little bit interesting, is how are the field conditions? What do the players feel about that sort of thing? But I think the trying something new. And I love that as Major League Baseball has had such a hard time bringing in new fans, that they're at least a little bit more willing to try things new, that I'm all for it.
I'll say this too. I think there's an interesting piece of this, and it's regional-ish, and I think Miggy can agree. Like, we don't love that Chase Burns left the way he did, but it's also like, in my heart of hearts, Chase Burns is a huge piece of Tennessee lore. because of how good he was on that team. So like, I think people forget about the Wake Forest transfer because you're like, oh, that's Chase. You know, there's gonna be a lot of these dudes. I went to college at UTSU, so I speak Northeast Tennessee. Hey, that Chase Burns boy, he's gonna be back up there. We got as well go watch it. That's gonna be a lot of it. Like I think the UT factor, the fact that he played, you know, obviously you get him and Ellie that were at the lookouts, like little things like that. Guys saw them play in Knoxville, you know, against each other. It's like it's gonna be these little like, hey, we're gonna go to this game. We'll spend a couple $100. We go to Bristol every year, and they do a really good job up there. I think like it might actually be a little bit easier compared to a full race day, like from what I've heard. I've got friends that work there, so it's like this is cool, this is fun, and when you see that freaking jumbotron, it's just sick.
Yeah, it is.
Because we went to that Virginia Tech game and seeing Marty hang on that thing, you're like, this is NASCAR and college football perfectly combined.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think as long as they handle all of the fan experience stuff, where like, you know, in-game entertainment, concessions, I mean the merch is already, it looks really cool. It's going to be very difficult for me to not spend like $200 when I go in that gift shop with all the stuff.
Did you like the Flames initially?
I did, because I didn't think they weren't trying to. It wasn't. It was old school. I feel like I think it was meant as a kind of a throwback element to it, instead of a we're trying to be like cool with the current times. It was like, no, we're more embracing the nostalgic side. And I guess me as like I probably own 20, 30 90s to early 2000s NASCAR t-shirts, and because like that was the greatest time of the Chase Authentics brand and all the incredible designs that they did. And I kind of liked that they leaned into that. I do like the Cincy jersey or the hat more with the racing checkerboard over the Flames, but still I love the jersey, kind of the number decal sort of thing. And I have already I have looked at Fanatics and seen some of the other hats and things that have been made available. And even when the All-Star game was here in Atlanta, I went to the fan event that they had, and there's an artist, S. Preston, I believe is his name. And he kind of came up with this really cool design that I already bought the art, and I got to get it framed in my office. But I am ready for this because I think it's going to be a really fun, cool event.
Caleb, you said something about some checkerboards. I can get you some checkerboard cereal.
No, hey, you know what I do have? I have a chunk of the checkerboard, but that came from week 1 of 2019 when Georgia State went up there and upset the Volunteers, because I was covering the Georgia State
and
Panthers.
We had a great show for you guys.
It was awesome.
It was a wonderful
so
Friday,
cool,
Feel Good Friday.
Caleb, are you serious, bro?
I'm sorry. Look,
Thank you,
Caleb. It's somewhere. It's not on this case of bobbleheads, but I do. Yeah, I have a little baggie with a chunk of.
I don't care what you do in your baggie. They'll send you to jail for that.
Listen, man, that hurt me, and I'm not gonna send you home
Deep cuts.
like that. I'm not gonna send you home like that because to end the show.
That was rude. That was not Southern hospitality of me. That's my bad.
We
No.
need to
Don't
hear,
apologize.
We need to hear an embarrassing story about Miggy from when he was younger.
Oh man, I feel like I've already. I mean, I threw out the play that me and him were in. I have talked about the Oldsmobile Alero, which literally what was
that
it?
on the show or was that pre-show?
That's pre-show.
Oh, was that pre-show?
That was pre-show.
Yeah, that you had an 03 Oldsmobile Alero that the back window just decided to fall down one day, and so you had to put a trash bag in it for like a couple weeks until moms could get it fixed, and then you did, and it was good to go. Then you upgraded. You were in an Acura, and because that was at a time I had a couple of cars that were bad cars and then broke down, and I ended up driving a 1989 Mercury Grand Marquis because it was It was a boat. I literally called that thing the boat. So I can tease Malcolm as much as I want, but
100%.
it was just, those high school days of we're looking in the parking lot and football players are driving Camaros, and we're out here like, man, I wish I had it like that. But
You try to go to Taco Bell on Salem Road, man?
right, yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
that
man.
Grand Marquis is fresh. Taking a little picture.
It was literally, I called it the boat because you would turn corners and it would just float. Like it never.
Oh, yeah.
You stayed straight in your seat and it just kind of turned as you went around. But
What color was yours?
it was gray.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was.
1989, Joseph.
Yeah, it was. When I tell you, if I hadn't already been dating, so I was dating someone that I ended up marrying. If I was not already dating her, there was no.
That's it.
That's it.
There were no ladies coming my way in the.
I don't know about that, dude. We're about to take a peek at this thing. You're telling me you're not pulling any tail in this thing?
Come on now.
Dude.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Get out of here,
There's
Caleb.
no way.
It
I think it's fresh.
pimping.
yeah. I was so glad when I started making my own money and I bought a Mitsubishi Eclipse after that.
Now that's big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the step up.
Yeah.
Oh
That's-
man.
Man,
That was fun.
we play a
Great
segment.
conversation.
We play a segment before every show ends, bro. And
Okay.
normally I wouldn't force it, but this is an all-time. Fellas, I know y'all are hot, but it's like an elite 8 of birthdays. All right, so
Okay.
I'm gonna give hints. These are famous people's birthdays from all across the board. There's a lot of entertainment, there's a lot of sports, and there's actually some NASCAR in here.
Ooh.
So this guy, Caleb, you I think are gonna know. He is not a part of the rap group Migos, but without Migos, he would not be successful at all. This guy really got his start in 2015, and I consider him to be bad and bougie. Who is this guy?
Not
He's not
Not
a
one of
member
the
of
three.
Migos. He's not Offset, Quavo, or Takeoff, but he's bad and bougie. Fellas, y'all can weigh in too if you know it.
and he's a rapper.
He's a rapper, one of the biggest in the world.
I don't know. I can't think. I know the song. I know.
I
I
mean,
know what
he's-
you're
I was
talking
gonna
about.
say, I know like the rapper slash actor slash all encompassing entertainer that caused Migos to blow up, but
Yeah, it ain't him, but
I was about to say because that's Donald Glover, but
this guy is Lil, and I'll leave it at that.
I mean there's so many.
And there's so many Lils.
Yeah.
All right.
Who am I?
Caleb, you're gonna be mad. Like
I'm sure I will be.
we can't clip this up. It's Lil Uzi Vert, man. He is turning 30
Oh.
years old today.
Big 3-0.
He was on the remix of Bad and Bougie.
Oh, he was.
yeah,
Wow.
man.
Yeah. He's a hot take. Like what Lil Uzi brought to hip hop was more impactful than his actual music because
I could go for that. I could go for that.
But the impact is there.
This lady was really impactful, and she is double the age, turning 60 years old today. She is responsible for the biggest book series ever.
Oprah?
Close, but no.
You know,
Is it
Joseph.
J.K. Rowling?
It is J.K. Rowling.
There you
turning
go.
60 years
Nice.
old today.
So I thought Oprah might be a little older
She doing
than
okay.
60.
Oprah's in like her 80s. Dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's pretty old. That's the only thing that kind of got me. I was like, I knew she had like some sort of big ass book club, but
Never seen or read any of the Harry Potter books.
I
ever.
did because of AR
I've
points back
never-
in middle school.
AR
never-
points.
Oh wait,
Boy.
sorry.
Yes, that's a throwback.
Memorial Middle School was jumping with AR points, man.
Yeah.
That AR points the pull, dog.
Yeah,
that's,
dude, I
that's
got you,
from deep
boys.
in the archives. Seen one on a date. It was like the fourth movie, but
There you
never
go.
seen any of the rest of them.
I
I
think
did
that's
in middle
perfect.
school
That's
go
about it.
dressed as Harry Potter for one
Interesting, the
Halloween.
first
You did?
I
Did you put
did.
the scar on your forehead and everything?
Yep, my sister drew it and everything.
Had to.
Caleb, if you could please send us that.
Dedication. There's a
We
lot
need
that you
that,
have
bro.
that we need.
Yeah, we need the Oldsmobile, and we need your ride. We need the Grand Marquis, and we need
Miggy being
that
what?
house.
Hey,
need
y'all
to
do
get
not
that
need
right.
that.
I
Y'all
do
not
need to look
that.
through my. Do I have any saved
I
photos?
guarantee it's there. Like I'm like 95% sure it's on your Facebook.
Caleb, if you could pop that in an email for us, that'd be great. If you had like a little,
sports
yeah.
at gmail.com. We'll put that on Instagram. Make sure
Um,
Miggy's tagged all over the place. We'll get him to collab. When we're in
We-
Houston this weekend, I'll make him collab.
exactly.
He won't know what's happening. He'll be so lit. There it is.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh no!
The jock that is Malcolm Harris.
What a job.
Bring him over. Bring it up again. One more time,
Oh,
Caleb.
man.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
What a dynamic duo.
Yeah, I found this photo a couple of years ago, and I was like, that is getting saved.
Dang, that's awesome.
Oh man, I don't know if I have any others, but that one for sure.
Amazing. That made my
That's
night.
good. Yeah, that's fantastic. You got another one, Miggy?
Yeah, man. She is celebrating today, and it's actually in the news because she shut down her podcast, but she had Drake on her podcast and went absolutely crazy. Who is this person?
Bobby.
Yes, it is Bobby, turning 28 today.
Why is
She's
she shutting
only
down her podcast?
28.
Yeah, Bobby's 28, Bobby Althoff. So she's shutting down, and I guess is focusing on herself. But you know, she's been everywhere, man.
That just
Yeah,
means
super
people aren't
popular.
listening anymore.
We're gonna go to country music. So this guy, I mean, he's a Grammy Award winner, but he has a band as well. And he's actually, ironically, from Atlanta, Georgia. How fitting. He's 47 today. His initials, it'll start with a Z.
Zach Brown.
Zach Brown.
Zach Brown, whoever got it, man.
That's great.
Me and Jay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right. This guy is from Summerville, South Carolina. He was drafted in the 2011 draft, and to me is considered one of the best receivers ever, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of damn near perfect. You're awesome, but I don't think you're a Hall of Fame guy. He played with a guy that was really boring, and ironically, he is an SEC product by way of the University of Georgia.
AJ Brown?
AJ Green.
AJ
AJ
Green.
AJ Green.
Brown,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown.
He turned 37 today.
wow.
One of the best catches ever in the Colorado game, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Specimen,
so much,
dude.
dude. Wasted.
If only NIL existed then.
Would be
Oh,
fun. This is going to be
Rick
the
would've had a
last.
ring.
It's going to be the last one because it's just too good to. We got to end it here. This guy to me is the owners of all owners, and it makes sense that he's a Leo. He's owned a sports franchise, but also he has worked his way up from nothing. He no longer owns it, but he is everywhere.
Mark
This is
Cuban.
Mark Cuban, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Turning 67 years of age today.
He looks good for
Wow.
67,
Mogul.
dude.
Yeah, y'all.
67.
He's a mogul. So that is gonna be your birthdays,
Love
fellas.
it.
The other ones aren't as good, and I want to make sure y'all get home to your families and your wives, and somebody's got to pack for
In my air fryer.
H down. And yes,
I'm
I got to
packed.
get my air fryer as well. I haven't
What time are you
started.
leaving tomorrow?
Well, Jamarius and I are going up to Knoxville on Friday. We're going up at 11. Probably going to brunch a little bit. Jamarius wanted to go to the mall. And then we'll
Our
meet up
flight
with
leaves at
Miggy
5?
at some point. Yeah. Yeah. Just giving
Yeah.
out all our flight information. Yeah, it's
Our
fine.
flight leaves at 5, but they have no idea what airport we're going. Oh well, yeah, you just kind of get.
Yeah, you just really screwed the food truck up.
If I got some ops, man, y'all know where the job's gonna be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Caleb, bro.
Where are you going to be tomorrow, Mig, on Friday? In
Man,
Knoxville?
I'm gonna be chilling, man. Just get ready. Yeah.
I'm
man.
excited for Houston.
Yeah, me too.
Godspeed, sweating your balls off, boys.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's going to be about 99 all weekend with 50% chance of rain.
I haven't even looked at the weather, man. You know
You
me,
don't. It's just
Don't,
gonna make you
yeah.
sad. Just don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melting.
Don't. It's
Melting.
listen, it's
Yeah.
gonna be hot.
Bring
Oh.
that sweat towel.
There's going to be a
Yeah.
picture of your chafing thighs. That's
Malcolm,
what's-
does steam still come off your head?
Bro, I will beat your ass, Caleb. Bro, like,
Caleb, the one thing that we want to sell so bad is sweat towels. Chatted up sweat towels are
Yeah.
Miggy's number one item.
Yeah. No, that
Bruh.
would be great. Like,
you are my dog, man.
no, I just remember you would just sit there and it would.
So we had our helmets, bro, right, for marching band, like our little hats, and I would take it off, and the shit would just steam
That's
up.
before you were
It was
bald.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's when I had I still had a great hairline back in the day, man. It just went away.
It was there.
Bro, we send them out with 3 claps. Can I get 3 claps for my dog Caleb Johnson, man?
Don't forget to
Caleb.
find him on Twitter at ATL Johnson 18. By the way,
Yeah.
Thank you.
got you.
Always.
Anything else you want to shout out? Because you're a dopey millennial. You also Atlanta's finest. What else you want to shout out, man?
Can't use any silver spoons. It's only plastic utensils.
Yeah, that's a little. It's one of my favorite bars in a particular song. So that's just kind of showing the roots and that sort of thing. But no, I don't know if I have anything to shout out. Definitely check out the Odyssey app. 929 the game, Dopey Millennial Show. I'll be on 2 to 5 on Sunday after having gone to Bristol. I also have a basketball podcast, Atlanta Basketball with Caleb Johnson. No, it was not my choice to pick that name, but that's what went through legal. So
Okay.
that's what I was left with. But yeah, and then you got the social stuff. So that's where I fire off the thoughts that I think are funny or entertaining or whatever comes to mind. But I appreciate you guys bringing me on. It was fun.
Thanks, big dog.
Yeah, appreciate you being here and taking the time, brother.
All right, and for all you guys listening, make sure you like, subscribe at Chatted Up Sports. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Until next time, see y'all. Peace.